Hello again and welcome back to part 2 of the Ashley's Jewel Mandala. We're going to carry on where we left off on part 1, which was the shell row here, and I'm going to start with a deeper shade of this light rust colour. It's called Cinnamon. I'm starting again with a slip knot onto the hook. We're going to work from 2 rows this time rather than just the one that we've just done. So the first stitch, we're going to work a front post double around the cluster here that's in the paler colour. It's the same row that we did earlier on here, where we worked the front post doubles around the clusters and then the back post singles around the shell stitches. So to start off, we're going to yarn over behind the stitch, pick up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And then we're going to do the same into the next cluster here, working a front post double. We're then going to go to the 5 doubles that formed the shell. We're going to work a back post single around each of those stitches. There's 1 and 2 3 4 and 5. So that forms the pattern repeat. The next 2 stitches will be the front post doubles around these 2 clusters here. So we've got a front post double around the first cluster, straight over to the second cluster with a back post double, and then again we're going to work the 5 back post singles around the next 5 doubles. So if you want to work all the way around this row, just following that same pattern repeat, 2 front post doubles, and then we've got the 5 back post singles, and then back onto the 2 front post doubles, and I'll meet you when we get to the next row. And now we can move on to row 14. Row 14 is going to be the same as row 8. We're going to join into the first of any of the 5 back post singles around these shells. We're just going to work a double crochet into each of the 5, and then once we've worked those 5 doubles, we're going to work a front post double, but it's going to go around both of these front post doubles as we did on this row here. So yarn over, go behind both of the stitches, pick up a loop, yarn over through 2 and yarn over through 2, and then we do the 5 doubles, 1 in each of the next 5 stitches. And then we're back again to the front post double that's going to work around both of these 2 stitches here. So just go behind and pick up the loop. So again, that's the pattern repeat for this round. We're just going to do 5 doubles, and they fall in each of the back post singles from the last row, and then we do the front post double around both of these 2 front post double stitches that were around the clusters. So if you want to pause the video again at this point and work all the way around, join into that first stitch with a slip stitch. The last stitch of the row will be the front post double around these 2 stitches here, and then just join in with a slip stitch, and I'll meet you when we get to the end of this round. The next row is row 15, and we're going to repeat row 9 that we did after the shells and the double crochet row. So for this row, it's just a straightforward back post double. So I'll start with a back post double into any of the stitches. It won't matter at all which one you start in. So I've worked a standing back post double, and now I'm just going to work a back post double into every stitch all the way around. It's a nice simple one that doesn't take much thinking about, and we don't need to count, as long as you work that back post into every stitch all the way around. Again, rather than you just watching me working back post stitches, if you want to pause the video here and work your row all the way around, again, when you reach the end, we're just going to join with a slip stitch into that first stitch. As I mentioned on the last video, there is a written pattern for this blanket. If you want to purchase it, it's available on Ravelry, and I'll pop the link into the description underneath the video. And there's also the Facebook group if you find that you're needing any help or assistance with any of these crochet alongs. So I'll let you pause the video and work your back post stitches around, and I'll meet you for row 16. And on to row 16. Row 16 yet again is another very easy and simple row. We're just going to work 1 double into every stitch. So we can start anywhere around the circle. I usually try and work away from where I've started before, so that we've not got all of the ends in the same place. So again, just a straightforward slip knot onto the hook, into any stitch, and work a double. We're just going to go all the way around, just working 1 double into each stitch. So again, if you want to pause the video and work this row, I'm sure it gets quite boring just watching me work my double crochets around, and I'll meet you when we get to the end of this row. Row 18, and again we can start in any stitch around the circle. I'm going to slip knot onto the hook. We're now going to work a 4 loop puff stitch into any of the stitches to start. So to do a standing puff stitch, we yarn over into the stitch, pull up a loop once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then just pull through all of the loops on the hook and chain 1 to finish off the puff stitch, but we also need to do a chain 1 after the puff stitch itself. We're going to skip a stitch and then do exactly the same into the next stitch. So we've got 1, 2, 3 and 4. Yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook, chain 1 to fasten off, and a chain 1 that's going to go in between the puff stitches. We now skip a stitch, we're ready to do the next puff stitch into this next stitch. The work should be lying quite flat when we get to this stage. You shouldn't really have any frilling or rippling, but if you have, it should sort itself out when we come to the rows that actually square off the blanket. 3 and 4. So we just work this all the way around this row. A 4 loop puff stitch, chain 1 to finish off the puff, and a chain 1, skip a stitch, and then do the same again. So that's just the pattern repeat now for this, forgotten how many loops I did there, for this row, which is row 18. 2, 3 and 4. So I'll let you pause the video again at this point and let you work your puff stitch row, and I'll meet you when we get to the end. We're just going to join into the first stitch with a slip stitch as before, but don't forget the last chain after you've done the last puff. Join with a slip stitch, fasten off and pull the yarn through, and I'll meet you for the next round. At the end of this row you will have 84 puff stitches. We're now going to work on row 18. It's another quite straightforward row. Going to slip knot onto the hook, and starting on any of the puff stitches we're going to do a front post half double. So yarn over the hook behind the stitch, pick up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 stitches, and then we're going to do a half double in that chain space, and then a front post half double around the puff, a half double in the space, a front post half double around the puff. We're just going to carry on working that 2 stitch pattern repeat all the way around. So it's a half double in the chain space and a front post half double around the puff stitch. And at the end of this row you will have 168 stitches. If you just want to do a quick count up. So again, as it's just a straightforward round for round 18, I'll let you pause the video and work your stitches around this row. As always, we're just going to fasten off with a slip stitch into the first stitch and then fasten off the yarn and pull it through to finish off. So I'll meet you again at the end of this round. The next row, row 19, you can start anywhere around the circle, we're just going to work a double into each stitch. I've already started this row, but you would start with a normal standing double into any of the stitches around the circle, and then just work a straightforward double in every stitch. Again, it's another nice easy row. And at this point we've still got the same amount of stitches, we've still got 168. So just double crochet into every stitch all the way around, and that will complete row 19. So again, if you want to pause the video and work your row of doubles all the way around, and I'll meet you for the next row. And so on to round 20. This is the last row that we're going to do while the throw is still a circle. The rows after this one will start to form the square. So this row again is a nice easy row. It's the same in every stitch, and that's a back post double. So as always, I've started with a standing back post double there. If you want to use the 3 chain method, you would start the slip stitch into the post of the stitch rather than the top, so that you're still getting the look of the back stitch, the back post stitch there. So again, it's just a straightforward round of a back post in every stitch all the way around. If you've joined our Facebook group, the Alicia Rose Crochet group, feel free to post photos of your progress. I'm sure everyone in the group is like me and likes to see the photographs. I just think it's nice to see the different colourways that people choose to work these blankets, especially if they've got a theme of a colour. It just gives other people ideas of what colours they can use. I'm actually working on 2 of this blanket at the moment. There's this one that's the very bright colours, and I'm also making a second one in more muted tones. So I may do part of the tutorial for this tutorial using the other one, just to show how different a blanket can look if it's worked in different colours. So if you do see a different colour, don't think that you've gone into the wrong crochet along. It is the same blanket. So I'll let you again pause your video and work the back post stitches all the way round, and then we can make a start on squaring off our blanket. So to start row 21, which is the first row that will start to square off the circle, we're going to join into any stitch with a treble. It doesn't matter where about it in the circle that we start. So we're going to do a standing treble, 1, 2 and 3. In that same stitch we're going to do a second treble, chain 2, and then we're going to work another 2 trebles all into that same stitch. So we've got 2 trebles, 2 chains and 2 trebles. We're now going to work into each stitch along. We're going to work 4 trebles across the next 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're now going to work 6 doubles across the next 6 stitches. So there's 1. Just bear with me, I've just got the yarn a bit tangled up there. So we've got the 4 trebles, there's 1 double, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We're now going to work 4 half doubles. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So far we've got the 2 trebles with the 2 chains all into that first stitch. We've done 4 trebles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 4 half doubles. We're now going to work 13 singles across the next 13 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We're now going to go back to the half doubles, and like the other side we've got 4 half doubles. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're now going to work 6 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then we're going to work 4 trebles. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we're now onto the second corner. So into the next stitch we're going to do like we did with the first corner. We're going to work 2 trebles. There's 1 and 2, chain 2, and then we do another 2 trebles into that same space. So we're now ready to repeat the pattern that we've just worked. I'll just go along the next side with you, and then you do the final 2 sides exactly the same. So the first pattern repeat is the 4 trebles. So we've got 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're going to follow the 4 trebles with 6 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We've got 4 half doubles, 1, 2, 3, 4. So coming along, we've got the 2 trebles into the corner with the 2 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4 trebles, 2, 4, 6 doubles, 4 half doubles, and then we start now with the singles, and we've got 13 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13. So we're back onto the half doubles. We've got 4 of those. There's 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we've got the 6 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then the last 4 stitches on the side will be the 4 trebles. We've got 1, 2, 3 and 4, and that brings us to the next corner. So again, into this next stitch we work 2 trebles, chain 2 and another 2 trebles. So that's the pattern repeat for all of the sides, where the next side now we will work again 4 trebles, 6 doubles, 4 half doubles, 13 singles, 4 half doubles, 6 doubles and 4 trebles, and that will bring you up to this point here where again you do the next corner. So if you want to pause the video now and work all 4 sides exactly the same, I'll just repeat through what the pattern row is. We've got 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles in that first stitch, and then we work 4 trebles, 6 doubles, 4 half doubles, 13 singles, 4 half doubles, 6 doubles and the last 4 trebles. So I'll leave you to carry on and work all around this row 21, and I'll meet you for the next row. And ready for round 22. Going to start again with a slip knot onto the hook. We're going to start in the 2 chain that forms the corner of the previous row. We're going to start exactly the same with the 2 treble. I've got 1, and 2, chain 2 to form the corner, and then we work another 2 trebles into that same space. And then coming along the side, we're working in every stitch along the side, we're going to work 4 trebles, 1 in each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're going to work 7 doubles across the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. We're going to do 5 half doubles, so we've got the 2 trebles, 4 trebles along the side there. We've got 7 doubles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're now going to do 5 half doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We now work 4 singles. 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're now going to skip 2 stitches, which is this one and this one. We're going to work 5 doubles into the next stitch. Oops. So skip 2 and work 5 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We're now going to skip the next 2 stitches, which is this one and this one, and we're going to work 4 single crochets across the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. I'm going to work 5 half doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Going to work 7 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and that leaves us with 4 stitches before the corner space there. We're going to work 4 trebles, 1 each into those last 4 stitches. So that forms the pattern repeat for the sides. If you just want to make a note of what that stitch pattern is, we started with the 2 treble, 2 chain and 2 treble into that first corner space here, and then we've got 4 trebles. We work 7 doubles, 5 half doubles and 4 singles, and then we come to the center where we skip 2 singles and we work 5 doubles into the next stitch. We skip 2 stitches and then we work back up the other side, working 4 singles, 5 half doubles, 7 doubles, 4 trebles, and then we're back to the next corner space where we're going to start again with the 2 treble, 2 chain and 2 treble for the corner there. So there's 1 treble, 2 chain, and the second treble there. So we're going to work all 4 sides exactly the same as we did on this first side, and we've now got a square. So this is the end of part 2. I do hope you've enjoyed crocheting along with me. I hope you'll join me for part 3. I'd like to just say thank you for watching and see you again soon. Bye.